Today, we're going to talk about something that's all around us, shaping our digital lives every single day, but it's something we rarely ever notice. We're talking about design engineering.
I want you to think for a second. Think about an app on your phone or a website you use all the time. Have you ever had that experience where it just works?
You know the feeling. You didn't have to hunt for the settings. The buttons were right where you thought they should be. You got done what you needed to do, and it was so smooth, you almost didn't even notice the software was there. It just flowed.
Well, that feeling, that sense of ease and clarity, that's what happens when software manages to connect with us on a human level.
And believe me, that is not an accident, it's not magic, it's the result of careful, deliberate, and really thoughtful work. It comes from a discipline that tries to make technology serve us, the people, and not the other way around. Probably the best way to visualize this whole idea is to think of it as a bridge, a really quiet but very sturdy bridge that connects two completely different worlds. Mitch Kapoor, who created the legendary spreadsheet program Lotus 123, said it perfectly. He said, "Design is about having a foot in both worlds, the world of tech and the world of people, and trying to bring them together. It's all about that connection." And that, right there, is the heart of design engineering. It's the craft of building that exact bridge. See, on one side, you've got us, with all of our messy, complicated, wonderful human needs. And on the other side, you have the cold, hard logic of code. The design engineer's job is to build a structure that spans that gap, so the two can meet in the middle. So, what holds this metaphorical bridge up? Well, like any good structure, it's built on a solid foundation. We can think of it as three main pillars. The very first pillar is simplicity. Now, that doesn't just mean basic. It's not about stripping out features. Think about a search engine's homepage. It's just a box, right? But that one simple box opens up the entire internet. That's the kind of simplicity we're talking about. It's about removing every single thing that isn't absolutely essential until what's left is clear, elegant, and powerful. The second pillar is all about managing complexity. Building a piece of software can feel like trying to solve a 1,000-piece puzzle all at once. It's just overwhelming. So, what do? You divide and conquer. You break that huge problem down into smaller, bite-sized pieces that you can actually solve one by one. And the third pillar, and this might be the most important and the most forgotten, is simply to think. Just pause. Plan things out. It sounds so obvious, but in a world that's always pushing us to move faster and just do something, taking the time to think deeply before you act is revolutionary, and it almost always gets you a better result. When you really put these three pillars together, simplicity, breaking down big problems, and thinking ahead, what you get is clarity. And in the world we're talking about, clarity is just a form of kindness to the person using what you've built. Okay, so how does this all work in practice? How do you actually do this? Well, you start by drawing up a model, kind of like a quiet blueprint that turns all those big ideas into a solid plan. Let's take a really simple example here, a website for reporting potholes. The design model maps this whole thing out. First, what does the user do? That's the input. A person reports a pothole. Then, what does the system do behind the scenes? That's the process. It saves the address, the location. And finally, what does the user actually see? That's the output, a confirmation message, maybe with a tracking number. See? This simple chart is the blueprint. It makes everything crystal clear before anyone even thinks about writing code. But here's the thing, that blueprint is just the starting line. It's not the final destination. Great design doesn't happen all at once. It's a journey of small, deliberate steps. And that journey usually looks like a loop. You start with your model, that blueprint we just made. Then you build a prototype, just a small working version to make your idea feel real. And then the most crucial step, you evaluate it. You put it in front of actual people and just watch. How does it feel to them? Is it confusing? Does it help? Then you take all that amazing feedback and you refine your original blueprint. And you just keep going through that loop again and again, getting a little closer to that effortless feeling each time. The great computer scientist C.A.R. Herwer once said that there are basically two ways to design software. One way is to make it so complicated that you can't see the flaws. The other is to make it so simple that there are obviously no flaws. And, as he pointed out, the first method is far, far more difficult. So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? Well, once you understand how much work goes into building these quiet bridges, you'll start noticing them everywhere. Or rather, noticing when they're not there. Because the real goal here is a kind of beautiful invisibility.
When design is truly great, you don't notice the design at all. The software, the tool itself, just fades into the background. And all that's left is you and the thing you were trying to do.
And that really is the whole point of design engineering. It's about those invisible bridges that are all around us. They're in the apps that just work and the websites that just make sense. They're there, quietly doing their job, built with so much thought and care, connecting our world in ways we rarely see but always feel.